Good sunny afternoon, micro followers. Finally getting a chance to get outside between the abundance and rain and my back being out. My garden definitely, outside of being completely rebellious gardening this year, hasn't really got much more attention than watering. As you can tell, which is the reason why I'm out here today. This is my spinach, which is way overpopulated. So we're going to harvest that today, and I figured I would bring you guys along with me. Also because I need to do an update with you guys. This is the other spinach. It didn't take off as well as the stuff in the cinder blocks. Not really sure why, but spinach is spinach. And because I was so late in starting a garden this year, I didn't even care. So if it's growing, I'm happy. So I'm going to show you guys around a little bit. Bear with me. I am slow moving. Like I said, my back is out. And you'll see all these random rakes and hoes and this sort of thing. I'm going to explain this right out of the gate. My quail have so much to say right now. That's a different video. You guys can wait your turn. My dog continues to break into the garden so he can use it as his bathroom. So he's killed off a lot of the stuff that I have planted this year, unfortunately. So I have had to barricade with chairs, the buckets, the old folding table, rabbit cages. I mean, anything and everything that I could possibly think of to try and block off the garden. So it's not really eye candy, but it's not meant to be. It's supposed to be table food. So that being said, excuse the fact that I have lamb's quarter growing everywhere because I have not weeded, either way you look at it lately. But we've got the peas growing up here. For the most part, they're doing really well, considering. So got some flowering there, which is super exciting. So I don't have like an abundance of peas growing this year. I've got a little stray one right here. You'll need to go this way. So I don't have abundance growing this year, but I'm totally fine with that. We don't eat peas a lot. We just eat peas. This is where the green beans were supposed to go. I think it's a little obvious at this point that I accidentally dropped some carrot seeds because those are not green beans. The green beans were actually killed off by the dog. So, unfortunately, that didn't end up working out. Next, we have, oops, I just knocked my rake down. The tomatoes, we got Romas. These are the 3 plants. I'll show you the 3 plants that were gifted to me. So they were already started. Dropped one. Already started at the store. And here they are now. And they're doing well as far as producing. But strangely enough, they're going nowhere. So like they're doing nothing outside of that. So they got these cute little green tomatoes, and that's literally it. Next off we have, which is vined out pretty far, the butternut squash, which honestly, I didn't care if it grew or not. This was also gifted to us. They just happened to have an extra one and had no room for it. We don't really eat butternut squash. I haven't purchased butternut squash since my children were infants. But, you know, it's worth a try. Taste buds change, so we'll see. The cucumber we got here is flowering beautifully. I think, where are we taking off to? There we go. Make sure we don't get too intertwined with the watermelon over there, which is doing very well. Next up is the zucchini. Looking a little yellow, assuming it's a little too much water due to how much rain we've had lately. But I mean, I'm cool with that. If there's one thing that I ever succeeded at in gardening, it was zucchini. So I'm not too concerned. Then, like I had mentioned, the Roma tomatoes. This is my red bell peppers. So they're coming along nicely. That's really exciting because peppers are a real thing in our house. We are some pepper eating fools. Except for jalapenos. I'm growing those for friends because we don't do the jalapenos. I have fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia and jalapenos do not go well together. Yellow peppers are in the first. I've got some flowers going on in there. There's no peppers starting though. I hear you. And then the other tomato plant that's in there. And then I have yellow banana peppers. I literally just harvested those a few days ago, so there's no peppers on there. Well, there are, but they're not big enough to do anything with. I couldn't tell you what's planted here. I planted something. I didn't mark it. Looks like peppers. I guess we'll find out. That's about the best kind of report I can give you on that one. This is still the same very onion from like months and months and months ago that I have been trying to get to seed. And still going. Next to it's my spring onions, which look pathetic. And next is my carrots, of which I tried to thin, and I did an absolutely horrible job. So we're kind of applying the same rule of, well, whatever, to those. There's my spinach that I'm harvesting today. And then in these last 4 blocks, I have replanted the green beans that my dog killed off. And let me limp over here, show you what else my dog killed off. There's my ridiculously unsuccessful corn. There were 8 stalks planted over here, and he was using this as a place to sleep. So I'm assuming the seeds got tilled up, the birds had a smorgasbord, and ta-da, that was done. As for the rest of these, he hiked his leg on a few of them and killed them off right in the beginning. The rest of them are fighting for their life. So we'll see how that goes. Let me see if I can shimmy around the equipment and get to the other side and show you. Let's just go all the way around. I'm so limpy. So over here, blocked off with a rabbit cage. This is, I literally say that I planted a salad. This has several different kinds of lettuce growing in it. I'm not really sure what to do with all this stuff. I've never grown lettuce before, so we're just kind of whatever. If it grows, great. If it don't, whatever. And then I have 4 of these pots, and they have potatoes in them. I don't expect them to sprout anytime real super soon. Potatoes kind of take a while. The tubs that are up there on the table are my second time's a charm. Don't care about the rules. I'm planting green beans. That was my focus. We really go through a lot of green beans, so I was very upset that he killed all those. Then I have my raspberry bush, of which he also was making it a habit to hike his leg on. So that is my real quick update on the garden. Squeezing through, excuse me. Now I'm gonna hobble back over this way, and we're gonna get this spinach taken down. Really simple procedure, honestly. If you've never harvested spinach before, you need a clean bowl, a clean pair of kitchen shears. If you're gimpy like me, a chair does you good. There's a couple different ways you can do this. And for me, because I want the grow back, okay, in case you don't know, spinach will grow back just like lettuce. If you just cut it off at the top and you leave the bottom there, generally I would do this with 2 hands, but given the situation, and you leave the bottom in there, that will continue, it'll grow. It'll continue. Technically, you're supposed to harvest your spinach before you reach the mid-70 degrees all day long. But like I said, given the situation, a little bit of physical handicaps going on, didn't quite get out here in time. So they're not quite wilted yet. They're a little soft, but as far as I'm concerned, it's perfect. So we're just going to snip off above the crown of the plant That way we will allow for the grow bag. Take the leaves, toss them in your bowl. The other way that you can harvest these if you're not concerned about grow back, obviously, is to just pull up the entire plant. You'll hold it down by the crown and just pull it straight up. And then you have your entire harvest. But even though the temperatures are pretty nasty up here in Ohio right now, I do want to at least try for the grow back, even though it's a little warm. So this garden this year seems to be, that seems to be my motto. Like, we don't care about rules this year. We're just gardening. We're just planting whatever, whenever we want, because we can. So that's our motto, and I'm sticking to it. I accidentally pulled that one up out of the dirt, so I'm just going to take it. Nice, big, beautiful, healthy leaves. Really shocked. I mean, if we're being honest, I'm really shocked that this even made it this far, because my daughter, she is a spinach eating fool. If you guys have been following me for a while, you'll remember that I grew spinach in like this ginormous bucket, kind of like this one that I put the compost in. And we went out to the garden. I was picking green beans. I was out there for quite a while. All of a sudden, my daughter's missing. I'm like, where's my daughter? I'm yelling for her. I can hear her snickering, but I can't figure out where she's at. Lo and behold, she's crouched down behind the barrel that I'm growing all the spinach in, just eating away till her heart's content. The whole entire barrel of spinach was gone. She ate it all of it. So I'm really shocked that this has made it this long. So you can see this has got like some yellow tint to it. It's overwatered and it's overcrowded. So we're going to get this out of here. I'm going to thin it out. I'm actually going to pull some of the plants up by the crown to try and free up some space in here first and foremost. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and top off the rest of the plant. Okay, so this is what I've ended up with. And I'm pretty happy with that. This is really good. It's a good harvest for just having 2 little cinder blocks and a little planter. Especially since how the weather's been stupid lately, and I planted everything way super late. So what I'll end up doing with this is cutting off the stem part of it and putting it in the dehydrator, because we use it for, we do eat it, like in salads or whatnot. But for the most part, I love using it as a garnish. I put it in meatloaf or meatballs, and omelets. It's a wonderful way to go ahead and get the nutrition of the spinach if you have, like mine, kids who don't particularly fancy the taste of spinach. Aaron will eat it raw. Zach won't have nothing to do with it. My kids are nope, big fat nope. They don't want nothing to do with it. So I did something a little bit different than I planned on this one. I tried to thin this out. Absolutely unbearably difficult, because I actually got it in there so tight that when I was trying to remove one, I actually ended up pulling out several in the process. So it was almost impossible to thin this out at a decent level. So I thinned it out the best I could, and we're just going to let that go. This one, I literally just went, grabbed it all up in this pile and took my scissors and whacked it off. So, we're going to see, I got these ones thinned out, so we're going to see now how they grow in comparison to the one that I left overcrowded. Yes, them quail, I'm a-telling you. So, okay, look, here's something I can show you guys. If you leave spinach go too long, it'll go to seed. And that's pretty much what's happened right here. The days are too warm. The weather is, if I can get it focused, the days are warm and the weather is rainy and humid, and it's just not really the ideal weather for growing spinach. Spinach likes the cooler temperatures. So what's happened is because I left this out here and did not harvest it in the ideal time, it went ahead and went to seed. Not a bad thing. I'm not concerned. I mean, I just picked it, but who cares? Because I'm still hoping that this will come back. So hopefully this continues to grow and I can get a few more harvests out of it before the end of the year. If not, like I said, not super brokenhearted, because there isn't a whole lot about this year's garden that's following any kind of rules anyways. So that is the current garden update. I have harvested. I've harvested the banana peppers, and the jalapeno peppers seem to be rocking it out pretty well. So I've got banana peppers, jalapeno peppers, and now the spinach that I have harvested. I don't think anything else besides the tomatoes are actually going to be ready to harvest anytime soon. I don't know what's up with tomatoes. I added some fertilizer to put some nitrogen into the soil and some coffee grounds into the top to help slightly acidify the soil. Those are supposedly the few things that will determine whether or not your tomatoes will turn. So they're growing, they're just not turning red. So I took a few little proactive steps in trying to encourage them along their way. The only other thing is, which I personally think is the sole reason, even though I'm not like the green thumb gardener, I honestly think that the reason why the tomatoes are not turning and finishing off is because these extreme temperatures. It's just been awful here. Seriously, it's been awful. So like the heat index obviously is way worse than the actual temperature, but we've had temperatures in the late 90s. And so it's just not been ideal. And this is a full sun garden. There is nothing over here that is shaded or sheltered at all. So everything that you see is in full sun. But yeah, so I don't know. That's about the closest thing that I've got for harvest outside of the banana peppers and the jalapeno peppers. And like I said, I'm not even sure what's going on there. So we'll see. In the meantime, I'm going to get this into the dehydrator. And maybe we'll have a salad or two. I mean, it's kind of a lot. So we'll see what happens. The dehydrated spinach is actually going to be on the Mission to Microfarming website and the market for sale. And for those of you who would rather just pay a couple bucks than go through all the blood, sweat, and tears of making this happen. But there'll be additional information about it on the website. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Follow along for all my successes and failures and all of my rebellious gardening tips. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.